My name is Janet Steffens, and I'm an extension educator with Purdue Extension Service. I'm here today with Alyssa, who is a college student, and we are talking about planning for some budget-friendly meals. And the first thing we're going to do is plan a shopping trip to the grocery store. One of the first things that a person needs to do if they're going to get the most for their money is to make a grocery list. So where does that grocery list come from? A lot of people like to make a menu. A menu is a plan for a meal, or it can be a meal plan for a week or even a month. Some people shop for all their food a month at a time. But today we're going to take it down to the basics and make it a little easier. And we're going to plan a dinner that will be something that will be versatile, that anybody would like, and that would also use a variety of meats and vegetables. And it would be the type of meal where somebody could go to the store, and if they saw a better price on something, they might substitute a different meat or a different vegetable. So let's start out with a way to tell what is a healthy meal. And there are many models, but this is one that comes from USDA, and it's called MyPlate. You can find it by going to myplate.gov, and it is made to look like a plate to simplify it, and it includes the plate divided into 4 parts. Fruits and vegetables take up half the plate. Grains, preferably whole grains, take up 1/4 of the plate, and protein is 1/4 of the plate. And then if a person is able to consume dairy and they don't have any lactose intolerance difficulties, dairy is another part of a healthy meal. So we know this about a plate, but then how do we tell how much food the average person, in your case an average young person, might need for a day? You can also find that at myplate.gov, and you will see a daily check sheet that includes the amounts for different calorie requirements. And in this case, we're looking at calorie requirements for a person who's on about a 2,000 calorie a day diet. And that may or may not be you, but that person would need to consume 2 cups of fruit, 2.5 cups of vegetables, 6 ounces of grain, which would be the equivalent of a couple of slices of bread and maybe some cereal. Preferably, this would be whole grain. Protein, a serving of protein, 5.5 ounces would be the amount for the day. And a serving of protein at a meal is about the size of a deck of cards. And some people who are accustomed to heaping a big serving of meat on their plates may think that that's kind of funny. But if a person does not eat animal protein, you can get this protein also from foods like beans and cheese or eggs. Those are good things to substitute. And then dairy, the requirement is 3 cups of dairy per day in order to have a healthy diet. So the menu that you will make for yourself will depend on several things. One of them will be what you like and dislike as far as food is concerned. Another would be perhaps what is on special at the grocery store that week. Another factor would be how many people you're serving. If you're planning a meal for yourself or you're planning a meal for a group of people. Those are all things that you would want to consider, along with how much money you can afford to spend or what is your budget for your grocery shopping trip. So as you consider those, it would then be important to pick out a recipe that you like. And today we're using a recipe for sweet and spicy stir fry. This is a good recipe because it's so versatile. You can plan to buy, let's say, chicken to put in the stir fry. And if you happen to get to the grocery store and there's a special on some other meat that you would like as well, you can go ahead and purchase that. In addition, you can use a variety of vegetables in this recipe. So we're going to look over this, and you can see that the ingredients include 8 ounces of your choice: pork, chicken, shrimp, lean beef, and you slice it in very thin strips. 1 bag of frozen stir-fry vegetables, and frozen vegetables are a very economical purchase if you have the freezer space at your house. They last longer than fresh vegetables, and you can use them in a variety of ways. 2 cups of shredded green cabbage, and in addition, you need some ingredients for the sauce. So the first thing before making your grocery list that you want to do is check in your refrigerator and your cabinet to see which of these ingredients you already have. Okay, so here is the recipe, and you can check and see if you have some of those ingredients.
I already have some of those ingredients.
Is that soy sauce I see in there?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay, that's something else you don't have to buy at the grocery store.
Oh, I see a few other things from the list that we won't have to buy at the grocery store.
So now we're ready to make your grocery list, and what you need to do is look at your recipe, and let's just determine which of those things on the list you already have and which need to go on the grocery list. Grocery lists can be written on any piece of paper, but it's very handy to have a grocery list with categories of food on it. A listing of vegetables, fruits, grains, milk, meat and beans, snacks, and other non-food items. This is a handy way to organize your grocery list so that when you walk around the grocery store, you'll have everything listed that is in each category. So let's go over the list, and the first ingredient you have there is?
8 ounces of beef.
Okay, so what you want to do then, of course, is just to write that on your grocery list. So go ahead and make a note of that. And then the next ingredient, go ahead and say it.
A bag of frozen stir-fry vegetables, thawed.
Okay, so did you say that you already had stir-fried
Yes.
vegetables? Okay, so that you won't need to purchase, and that will help with the budget. The next item is a fresh produce item.
2 cups of shredded green cabbage.
Okay, so now that needs to go on the list, and something that I find really handy is to get prepared coleslaw from the produce department. It's in a plastic bag, it's already cut, and it doesn't have any sauce on it. So this saves having to shred the cabbage before you fix the recipe. Non-fat vegetable spray, did you say you had that already?
I believe so.
Okay, you already have that. Now, a few ingredients for the sauce. Cornstarch,
We have that.
you have that. We have water.
We
We're
have-
using reduced sodium soy sauce, 1/4 cup of ketchup. I guess we'll need to buy ketchup. So that would need to go under other non-food items, even though it's something we eat. And then the last ingredient is 2 tablespoons of packed brown sugar. So again, that would need to go under other. All right, for the meal, we have the main dish that includes the protein and the vegetables. Let's think what else we might need for this probably dinner meal that you're going to be preparing to round out and make a healthy meal. So we said vegetables, protein, which we have, and then some sort of grain. So if this is a stir fry, what would you like to serve with it in the way of a grain?
Rice.
Okay, rice, and maybe brown rice. Okay, so if you don't have that, then you may want to go ahead and put that on your list. So we're serving brown rice and then something to drink. Do you already have milk?
No, we'll have to get that.
All right, let's put milk, and remember that you want to purchase fat-free or low-fat milk because we're trying to reduce fat, sodium, and sugar with this recipe, with this menu. Okay, so that looks complete to me. Let's review what we saw on MyPlate. Vegetables, yes. Meats, yes. Grain, yes. Dairy, yes. What about fruit? Because it's very easy to get that requirement of 2 servings of fruit a day if you serve fruit at several meals. So could you think of a way to serve the fruit as maybe a dessert?
Pineapple's always good with stir fry.
Okay, so you might include some pineapple in your stir fry, and you could get canned pineapple or fresh. If you get canned, remember to buy the type of pineapple that is canned in its own juice, no sugar added. Or fresh pineapple is really good if the grocery store has it. So you can go ahead and put that under fruit on your list. Can you think of anything else you need then?
Looks good to me.
Okay, looks good to me too. So we're ready for that grocery shopping trip.